Prime Minister Narendra Modi will deliver a keynote address virtually at the UN high-level dialogue on desertification, land degradation and drought today evening at the UN in New York. Big rift in Lok Janshakti Party in Bihar. 5 of its 6 MPs write to Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla to recognize them as a separate group. Elects Pashupati Kumar Paras as their leader. 5 MPs to meet Om Birla today. Party President Chirag Paswan also meets Paras at his residence in Delhi. Monsoon gathers strength across India, with the Met Department issuing an orange alert for coastal Karnataka for 48 hours, yellow alert for Kerala. Heavy rain slash several parts of UP, West Bengal and Rajasthan. Monsoon likely to reach Delhi in 24 to 48 hours. States continue to unlock in a phased manner. Odd-even system ends. Markets to reopen in Delhi from today. Restaurants to operate at 50% seating capacity. A graded unlock in Himachal Pradesh and Karnataka. In international news, ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi's trial set to start in Myanmar. Junta rejects criticism by the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights over its use of deadly force against protesters. Benjamin Netanyahu loses 12-year hold on power in Israel after parliament votes in a new coalition government. Right-wing nationalist Naftali Bennett sworn in as the Prime Minister. PM Modi says he's looking forward to meeting PM Bennett and deepening the two countries' strategic partnership. And in sports, in the French Open, world number 1 Novak Djokovic makes history with 19th Grand Slam title and epic final versus Stefanos Tsitsipas. He's just one major away from equaling the all-time record of 20, jointly held by Federer and Nadu. Hello and welcome. You're watching DD India and DD News with me, Munmun Bhattacharya. Our top story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will today deliver a keynote address virtually at the United Nations during the high-level dialogue on desertification, land degradation and drought. The permanent mission of India to the UN has said that the Prime Minister will be speaking at the opening segment in his capacity as the President of the 14th session of the Conference of Parties of the UN Convention to Combat Desertification. President of the General Assembly, Deputy Secretary General, President of ECOSOC and Executive Secretary of UNCCD will also speak on the occasion. The high-level dialogue will assess the progress made in the fight against desertification, land degradation and drought. It will also map the way forward in view of the end of the UN decade for deserts and the fight against desertification and the beginning of the UN decade on ecosystem restoration. This will include generating momentum and raising ambition for using land restoration as a key entry point. The discussions of the dialogue will highlight the importance of leveraging accelerated action on land-based solutions for climate and biodiversity. The high-level dialogue will see the participation of several other heads of states and governments and ministers. Some weather news now. Continuing its rapid progress since its onset on the 3rd of June, the southwest monsoon by Sunday covered nearly 80% of the geographical area of the country within 10 days. The Met Department has predicted that monsoon has reached the doorstep of Delhi, where it is most likely to arrive in the next 24 to 48 hours. That is 12 days before the normal date of arrival. The monsoon is expected to cover eastern Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Haryana and remaining Madhya Pradesh and Punjab. The monsoon has covered the entire Odisha, West Bengal, Jharkhand, Bihar, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh and some parts of Haryana, Chandigarh and northern Punjab, covering nearly 80% of the country's geographical area. Several parts of Uttar Pradesh witnessed rain accompanied with thunderstorm and strong winds. The state capital Lucknow witnessed heavy rain showers that brought down the temperatures. IMD said conditions are favorable for further advance of southwest monsoon into most parts of east and west Uttar Pradesh. In West Bengal, a temporary bridge in Kangsa, Shibpur of Bardhaman district washed away due to incessant rainfall in the region, due to which traffic movement was disrupted between Paschim Bardhaman and Birbhum districts. Meanwhile, orange alert has been sounded in 7 districts of coastal Karnataka and yellow alert in north interior Karnataka. The Met Department predicted heavy to very heavy rainfall at isolated places over coastal and south interior Karnataka and heavy rain over north interior Karnataka today, and widespread rainfall is forecast during the next 3 to 4 days. Agumbe in Shivamogga district and Manki in Uttara Kannada district experienced very heavy rainfall. In the next 48 hours, rain or thunder showers are very likely at most places over coastal Karnataka, south and north interior Karnataka. Fishermen are asked to be cautious as the surface winds are likely to be strong and gusty at times in the coastal areas. In Karnataka, water level in Tunga Dam increased after heavy rainfall. 21 gates of the dam have been opened and water has been released in Gajanur village of Shivamogga. 1,500 cusecs of water has been released through crest gates, while 5,800 cusecs has been released through a powerhouse. In Kerala, influenced by the low pressure formed in Bay of Bengal, the southwest monsoon has intensified. Heavy rain lashed most parts of Kerala and many places in Lakshadweep on Sunday. Kottayam recorded the highest rainfall, followed by Kannur. The Met Department has sounded a yellow alert across the state except Thiruvananthapuram, Kollam and Palakkad for today. Yellow alert has also been sounded in the entire state for Tuesday. According to the Met Department, another low pressure area could form over North Bay of Bengal by next week. This is likely to further intensify rain over the state next week, as strong winds with speeds ranging from 45 to 65 kilometers per hour are predicted along and off the Kerala and Karnataka coast and over Lakshadweep till Tuesday. Fishermen are advised not to enter into the sea during the period. Several parts of Rajasthan also received rain, leading to a drop in maximum temperature by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius. Many districts including Jhalawar, Dausa, Bundi and Kota received pre-monsoon showers on Sunday. Rain is also likely for the next 3 to 4 days in districts under Bikaner, Jaipur, Bharatpur, Jodhpur, Udaipur and Kota divisions. The Met Department also predicted heavy rain with dust storm on 15th and 16th June in districts under Ajmer, Jaipur, Bharatpur and Kota divisions. Union Environment and Forest Minister Prakash Javadekar took part at the FLO Environment Conclave, Revival, Regeneration and Conservation of Nature virtually. Addressing the webinar, Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar said that after the COVID pandemic, the government will start nursery programs in schools. He said that in the first year, nurseries will be set up in 5,000 schools, and in this program, students from 6th to 8th standard will plant seeds as part of plantation initiative.
We are starting with school nursery program. This school nursery program, when the schools will open and hopefully after this second wave, there will not be third wave. We will create in first year 5,000 schools will have school nurseries where the forest department will chalk out the nursery. The concept is that students of standard 6th, 7th and 8th will plant, will actually sow the seed when they enter. Then they will ensure and they will learn how to nurture it. The plant will grow during the year. And I hope that the plant at the end of this year will be like this. So they will take back with their annual results this tree, which is their own making. They will go to their house and plant it.
Union Minister Prakash Javadekar further called for the need for oxygen bank for everyone, and trees help in creating such oxygen banks, he said.
What is oxygen bank? I am talking about oxygen bank. Oxygen bank is planting and ensuring its growth to the fullest of 7 trees in your lifetime. That gives you enough oxygen to breathe lifetime. So we it's an interdependence of nature and human. It's a coexistence of human and nature. We exhale carbon dioxide value, they inhale. They exhale carbon dioxide, they exhale oxygen, we inhale. So this is a nature. And therefore, if we plant and grow 7 trees to its fullest, then we will definitely be creating our own oxygen bank.
India continues to report a decline in COVID-19 cases. In the last 24 hours, the country reported 70,421 new daily cases, lowest in 74 days. India's active caseload declined to 9,73,158. The active caseload is below 10 lakh after 66 days. Recoveries continue to outnumber daily new cases for the 32nd consecutive day. In the last 24 hours, 1,19,501 patients recovered, and so far 2,81,62,947 patients have recovered from COVID-19 in the country. Recovery rate increased to 95.43%. Weekly positivity rate dropped to less than 5% and is currently at 4.54%. Daily positivity rate is at 4.72%, less than 10% for 21 consecutive days. During the same time, 3,921 deaths were reported due to COVID-19 in the country. India continues to vaccinate its population against COVID-19 under the largest vaccination drive. 25 crore 48 lakh 49,301 people have been vaccinated so far in the country. As many as 14 lakh 99,771 people received their jab on Sunday. As part of the nationwide vaccination drive, the centre has been supporting the states and UTs by providing them COVID vaccines free of cost. More than 26.68 crore vaccine doses have been provided to states and UTs so far through the government, that is free of cost channel, and through direct state procurement category. Of this, the total consumption including wastages is over 25 crore doses. Over 1.4 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses are still available with states and union territories to be administered. Furthermore, over 96,000 vaccine doses are in the pipeline and will be received by states and UTs within the next 3 days. Meanwhile, testing for COVID-19 continues in the country. As per ICMR, a total of 37 crore 96 lakh 24,626 samples have been tested across the country so far. On Sunday, as many as 14 lakh 92,152 samples were tested. Shops, malls and restaurants in Delhi have opened from today as COVID numbers in the national capital dropped to a 3-month low. Shops are to open 7 days a week instead of the current odd-even system. Restaurants, which are open only for takeaways and home deliveries, can now have diners but only with 50% seating capacity. Our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya took a tour of Delhi's iconic Bengali market and Satyaniketan market.
The unlock process in the national capital has gathered momentum. In fact, this time around, the shop owners and the eateries have been given the permission to open with the 50% of their capacity. And we have tried to find out exactly what is happening in Delhi. Do you feel that it is great that finally the eateries have started working?
Well, yes, it is good that eateries have started because most of the people here around the campus are trying to sort out their food. So yes, it is good because most of us are from outside. So it's like really important that we can cater our food.
It's a well sanitized, social distancing, and the hygienic. All is good.
I hope that, once the things are better and we recover from the situation and the pandemic, I think we should have full occupancy, which was there.
I feel like everything is fine. The cases are going down, so it's going to be very good to open right now. And people are maintaining social distancing, and we are maintaining all the hygiene factors.
The unlock process has started in the national capital, and hopefully in the days to come, more such measures will help Delhiites come back to normalcy. With camera person Kuldeep, this is Tapas Bhattacharya, DD India, Delhi.
In Karnataka, partial unlock has started from today. The lockdown in the state that was effective from 27th April this year has been lifted with many riders. Lockdown continues in 11 districts, where the infection rate has not come down. The relaxation and lockdown measures is in place till 6 a.m. on the 21st of June. However, night curfew will be in place across the state from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. More from our correspondent in Bengaluru, Aisha Khanna.
It's a very good step taken by the government and our air officers. It may definitely it will helpful to publics and then business people. But only the thing is they have to maintain their our SWM rules or our COVID rules, like putting off the double masks and face shields, maintaining the social distance and maintaining the hygiene.
The government has kind of relaxed the norms, but I still wouldn't suggest that it's too early for us to venture out.
Yeah.
I would suggest if the government can increase it by another month or so, I think we can see a drastic dip.
Right.
And that is exactly what has to be done, because if you see already the market is packed.
Yeah.
So it is nowhere going to be working for us. People who are very strict, who abide by the rules and regulations, but otherwise it's a strict no-no.
It has to be citizens' responsibility.
Yes, it's whole and soul the citizens.
Today, Karnataka unlocks in over 19 districts, whereas 11 districts will still continue to have strict guidelines imposed during the lockdown. The Karnataka government has observed that the 19 districts which are now qualified for semi-unlock have the positivity rate which the government aimed at. 5T mantra which Karnataka government has been using right from the beginning was useful in bringing down the positivity rate to 6% as of today. So the government now aims to bring this below 5%. The government on one hand is subjecting people who are returning from villages to Bangalore to aggressive testing, and on the other hand the government has also opened up the vaccination drive on a war footing. Over 3 lakh people are vaccinated per day in the state. With cameraman Ganesh, Aisha Khanam, DD India, Bangalore.
In Tamil Nadu, a new set of lockdown relaxations kicked in from today as the state government sought to ease restrictions in the wake of daily new COVID cases dipping below the 15,000 mark. Saloons, beauty parlors and spas have reopened in 27 districts of the state, including Chennai, from today. These facilities are now allowed to operate up to 50% of their customer capacity. Tea shops have been allowed to supply takeaway orders, and state-run TASMAC liquor outlets have been permitted to operate in keeping with COVID-19 norms. Government parks have been allowed to open from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Taxis and auto rickshaws have also been allowed to operate. In Bihar, Chirag Paswan-led Lok Janshakti Party suffered a major jolt when 5 of its MPs formed a separate group under the leadership of Pashupati Kumar Paras. The MPs include cousin of Chirag Paswan, Prince Kumar, Chandan Kumar, Veena Devi and Mehboob Ali Kaisar. They have elected Pashupati Kumar Paras, brother of late Ramvilas Paswan, as the leader. The group has decided to remove Chirag Paswan as the leader of the parliamentary party in Lok Sabha. Pashupati Kumar Paras has been elected as the leader of the rebellion group. The rebel MPs met Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla and handed over a letter to him about new developments in the party. They requested the Speaker to consider Pashupati Kumar Paras as the new leader of LJP in Lok Sabha. LJP is currently a part of the NDA at the centre.
6 सांसद हम लोग हैं, 5 सांसद की इच्छा थी 6 महीना से कि हमारी पार्टी का अस्तित्व खत्म हो रहा है, ये पार्टी को अब बचा लीजिए। तो मैं पार्टी तोड़ा नहीं हूँ, मैं पार्टी को बचाया हूँ और स्वर्गीय पासवान जी के आत्मा को शांति के लिए मैं जिंदा रहूँगा। लोक जनशक्ति पार्टी देश में जिंदा रहेगी और हम उसको बरकरार रखेंगे। गरीब दलित शोषित जितने भी समाज के लोग, गरीब तबके के लोग हैं, मैं उनकी सेवा करने के लिए 24 घंटा में तैयार हूँ।
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is on a 3-day visit to Kenya. Dr. Jaishankar discussed building a comprehensive partnership at the ministerial roundtable today. The Union Minister thanked Kenya's Foreign Minister Rachel Omamo for chairing, as well as appreciated the ideas, enthusiasm and commitment of all the participants. A day-long summit of NATO heads of state and government will be held in Brussels, Belgium today. The meeting will be chaired by the NATO Secretary General. NATO leaders are arriving at the venue. NATO Chief Jens Stoltenberg said the meeting comes at a pivotal moment for our alliance and for our collective security and presents a unique opportunity to renew ties. The 30 allies are gathering at the NATO headquarters to agree on reforms for a multipolar post-Cold War world where China's military rise represents a new challenge. One of the main goals at the summit will be to make progress on a new strategic concept known as NATO 2030. Russia, climate change, Afghanistan and new technologies are on the menu of day-long summit, which will culminate in a special leaders session in the North Atlantic Council chamber. Russian President Vladimir Putin will meet US President Joe Biden on Wednesday in Geneva for a summit. Ahead of the meeting, which comes amid strained bilateral relations on a wide array of issues, Putin said he expects a summit with the US President will help establish dialogue between both the nations and restore personal contacts. In an interview released by state television, Putin also said that Russia would be ready to hand over cyber criminals to the US if Washington did the same for Moscow, and the two powers reached an agreement to that effect. Meanwhile, the White House has said that Biden will bring up ransomware cyber attacks emanating from Russia at the upcoming summit. In Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu's 12-year run as the country's prime minister ended on Sunday with the parliament approving a new government of change led by nationalist Naftali Bennett. Heading into opposition, Netanyahu pledged he would soon return to power. In a raucous session, the parliament voted confidence for the new administration by a razor-thin 60-59 majority. A former defense minister and a high-tech millionaire, Bennett was due to be sworn in shortly after the vote. For the first time in Israel's history, his alliance includes a party that represents its 21% Arab minority. Under a coalition deal, Bennett will be replaced as prime minister by centrist Yair Lapid, 57 years of age, in 2023. Following the win, the new Israeli government held a festive first cabinet meeting. Prime Minister Naftali Bennett presided over and opened his remarks with the Shehecheyanu prayer of thanksgiving. Bennett vowed to work to mend the rift in the nation after 2 years of political deadlock.
We are at the beginning of new days. The hardships, not an exaggerated word in this case, of forming a unity government are behind us. And now, the citizens of Israel, all of them are looking up at us, and we must deliver. We will act together in partnership and responsibility to heal the rift amid the people and immediately bring the country back to functionality, regular functioning after a long period of paralysis and strife. We are looking ahead.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Naftali Bennett on being sworn in as Israel's new Prime Minister. The Prime Minister in a tweet said that he looked forward to meeting Prime Minister Bennett and deepening their country's strategic partnership as they celebrate 30 years of the upgradation of diplomatic ties next year. Prime Minister Modi also conveyed his profound gratitude to Benjamin Netanyahu for his leadership and personal attention to India-Israel strategic partnership. Netanyahu's tenure as Israeli Prime Minister ended on Sunday. The new PM of Israel in a tweet thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The tweet further said that he looked forward to working with PM Modi to further develop the unique and warm relations between our two democracies. The trial of ousted Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi will hear its first testimony in a junta court today, more than 4 months after a military coup. The junta has brought an eclectic raft of charges against the Nobel laureate, from illegally accepting 11 kgs of gold to breaking a colonial-era secrecy law. Near-daily protests have rocked Myanmar since the general's push removed her government in February, ending a 10-year experiment with democracy. The mass uprising has been met with a brutal military crackdown that has killed more than 850 people, according to a local monitoring group. In sports news, Novak Djokovic claimed the 19th Grand Slam title and became the first man in 52 years to win all 4 majors twice, when he came from 2 sets down to beat Stefanos Tsitsipas in a gripping French Open final on Sunday. The world number 1 triumphed 6-7, 2-6, 6-3, 6-2, 6-4 over the Greek 22-year-old who was playing in his first Grand Slam final. Djokovic is now just 1 major away from equaling the all-time record of 20 jointly held by Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. It was a second French Open crown for Djokovic after his 2016 victory and adds to his 9 Australian Opens, 5 Wimbledon titles and 3 at the US Open. Djokovic is the first man since Rod Laver in 1969 to win all 4 slams on multiple occasions and just the 3rd in history. Austria sealed a 3-1 victory over major tournament debutants North Macedonia in the Group C opener at Euro 2020 on Sunday. This was Austria's first ever European Championship win. And on that note, we come to the close of this edition of the news. News and updates will continue on DD News and DD India. Do remember to follow COVID appropriate behavior going forward. Namaskar.